How is workforce diplomacy of India taking shape across the globe? Why is Russia betting on the skilled manpower present in India? And how is US going to react to it? And how will India look into balancing the Russia and the West? What if I tell you India's next big export is not about oil, software or services? Rather, it's about our skilled people. Russia is set to import 1 million workers, that is 10 lakh workers, by the end of this year to facilitate their economy. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to understand this particular deal where Russia is importing highly skilled talent from India. How is this a strategic shift in terms of workforce diplomacy, soft power and also major global shift that we are seeing? We will be also looking into that how US would not be so happy about this deal happening and how India is planning to balance this out in terms of global equations. So let us begin with understanding this particular news that has come in is the fact that Russia is going to import 10 lakh high-skilled workers from India by end of this year, and they would be the ones who would be facilitating the industrial as well as military manufacturing when we are talking about Sverdlovsk region in Russia. Now, this particular news is not something that can be seen in isolation. This becomes majorly important because of the fact it is a breakthrough when we are talking about workforce diplomacy, and it also shows changing face of India from just merely a labor exporter to becoming a global talent hub. Now, when we are talking about this particular deal, that we also have to understand herein the significance associated with it. The first significance that is right in front of us is the fact that the shift is towards skilled manpower export. And here is the symbol of the fact that India as a talent market is ready to serve the globe, not just Gulf countries that we have seen in past. India is already exporting labor to Europe, to East Asia and now Russia. And it is also showing that the employability associated with the Indian skilled laborers has gradually increased, which is also marked in the recent report when we talk about India Skill Report 2025, that the employability has gone up to 54.81%. And here the global reputation of India, especially in specific sectors like information technology, healthcare and engineering, is increasing. This highlights that India is not only helping the economies to build further, increase their numbers, but India is also rising in terms of global reputation, in terms of economic variables when we talk about, real facts when we talk about. Now, this is something that is directly to be understood that how is that happened? How has this happened? How has this happened? It has happened to gradual involvement we have seen in terms of policies, in terms of effects, in terms of efforts, such as national education policy, such as training schools, vocational training schools, the efforts that have been taken by the government which have increased the globally deployable skills. It has also been a contribution from bilateral labor pacts, be it with Japan, France, UAE, which have ensured that the opportunities for the labor market, labor force is available. At the same time, it is available through safe migration routes. It is not leading to illegal migration because there is dearth of opportunity in our country, and the facilitation that is required, that is properly given in terms of skills, in terms of pact, in terms of deals which can facilitate this. All of this clearly highlighting, clearly reiterating the fact that India is clearly transitioning from semi-skilled, low-skilled labor market, a provider, to a high-skilled one. In fact, with cross-border talent mobility, India is set to contribute almost $500 billion to the global economy. that basically signifies that how India's role is rising, not in just terms of leader through communication, through diplomacy, but via economic contribution as well. Now, the question that should arise in your mind herein is why the fact that Russia is looking towards labor market, or why it needs to import labors, and why specifically it is looking towards India. So when we talk about specifically the need of Russia of labor market and specifically for India, we have to understand Russia stands in a situation of crisis. If you see the given graph here, you will be able to see that this line is clearly representing the share of working age population that has been in Russia. And if you see the timeline that lies in front of us from almost 2015 to 2025, it has been a declining trend. So the working age population is declining. At the same time, another crisis situation is the war that Russia is involved in, that is Russia-Ukraine war. So that definitely diminishes the industrial workforce that is available in front of Russia. Now, to fill up this gap, they need labor force, correct? Now, why India? We have understood what is the need of Russia. Now, let us move and talk about why are we looking at India when we are talking about labor force herein. The first reason that we find here is that Russia used to import labor from the CIS states. But for the security reasons, in recent times, this exchange has been gradually tightened and it has been declining. So Russia is looking towards a country which is cooperative, which is secure in terms of international relations, international security, as well as it has been a long-term ally. And as of now, India checks all the boxes. At the same time, Russia also needs a country which is outside the Western bloc, because Russia is facing Western sanctions because of the Russia-Ukraine war, which also highlights the need of Russia for economic resilience at the very given time. And in all of these conditions, India is the suitable partner. It will further also strengthen the strategic partnership both of the nation share and facilitate the building of long-term cooperation, which is going just beyond defense and oil as well. Another pointer that becomes important for you to understand here is that the military industrial sector needs a boost in the output. It cannot be stagnant, especially given the situation that Russia is in, how meddled up it is in terms of Russia-Ukraine war and its involvement in the other chaos that goes in the global order as well. So here, this particular region in Russia is known for T90 TAC production, and to boost it, they need workforce. Now, all this clearly highlights that it is a win-win situation that is coming out for both of the countries. But we have to also understand that what are the factors that India will get, what are the benefits out of which India will get. The first thing, India will get to give opportunities to especially states which are job starved, be it Uttar Pradesh, be it Bihar. Opportunities are limited, skilled labor is available. So opportunities for them. If people are going to the other countries, there will be remittances that will boost our foreign exchange reserve. And definitely we cannot deny the part where both of the countries are involved, that is the strategic partnership as well. But one big question that comes in here is that if India and Russia are deepening their ties, they are hugging each other in the chaos of the world that we are seeing, then what will US do? US has always shown discomfort or frown over the strategic ties that India has with Russia, and even the times during the Western sanctions because of Russia-Ukraine war, India was one of the few countries that went ahead and got oil imports from Russia at discounted rates. Even though it was more like crossing the red line, US did not went ahead and severed the ties that they had with India. But this is going ahead now. Now, what can we expect from US and how it will be balanced? Let us get into that angle and let us try to understand that. So when we talk about this whole tug of war that is present in front of us, the first thing that we need to understand is that how US would have strategic concerns here. So the first obvious strategic concern is the proximity that is present between India and Russia. For Russia, India is an ally, but it is also an important pinpoint when we are talking about pivot to Asia policy. And it is also facilitating by bypassing sanctions which it has with strategic allies. So if we understand the offers from the West, it is in terms of trade, tech, defense deal, but the real fear that stays with the West is that India is strengthening, India is facilitating Russia's war economy. India has options, but India is still choosing Russia. That means it is facilitating Russia's war economy. And India for the longest time has been in the balancing act between US and Russia. Russia has been our strategic partner when we talk about defense, energy, and now in skilled labor. There is gradual rising partnership that we have seen with US, be it in terms of Quad membership, tech we see, investment. We are about to finalize a trade deal with US. Also here, let us understand that what is the strategy that India is going for. India is simply aiming for multi-alignment, that we are not going to closely associate with singular powers here. We are in a multi-alignment structure, multipolar world. And the main point that India remains close to and tied to is the fact that we are going to look towards strategic autonomy. That means we are going to go ahead with what serves our strategic interest. India's stance has been very clear and simple that it will be autonomy always. That means it will be interest-based diplomacy, be it in form of workforce, be it in form of soft power. There is nothing like East or West for India. We are focusing on ourselves, and here we are getting a global leverage in terms of skilled labor where we are becoming important focal point as a global talent hub. So US might be threatening, but we have been increasing our ties with US. At the same time, we have been a long-term ally, and we will be still following the strategic autonomy anthem and will be going ahead with it. Because as we have seen, even in recent times, be it any multilateral organization, we have been very clear in terms of autonomy and sovereignty, be it matter of Pakistan, be it getting oil from Russia, or talking about diplomacy on our own terms. Now let us move ahead and finalize the dimensions that we have had in front of us. How exactly India is expanding the global labor footprint. We are being the focal point of multiple labor corridors. We are the new supplier in terms of workforce to the new destination, be it manufacturing in Russia, Germany and UK in terms of healthcare, or Israel in terms of construction. There are multiple sectors from our economy that are emerging: IT, healthcare, engineering, green tech, construction, etc. And this clearly highlights that the driving forces, the push factors in our country are working, which will facilitate employability more in coming times, and there will be a greater push for legal and safe migration as well. India's edge still remains the demographic dividend, the young workforce we have in front of us, and the global demand that is ever rising, which leaves a win-win situation, especially for Indian economy when we are talking about this particular news. Now that was all from my side. I will leave you with a question. What do you think are the challenges when we talk about the execution of such deals? And is this a real scenario that India is actually a global talent hub when we talk about skills and employability? That was all. Thank you so much.